is aired 24 hours a day with 5 hours live program from Indonesia Stock Exchange trading floor. Our vision and mission as the only capital market TV channel in Indonesia that is committed to improve the capital market knowledge in the country. News that had been delivered on IDX Channel can also be seen on our digital platforms, so you can give yourself an update about informations anywhere and everywhere. IDX Channel can be watched through Vision Channel, First Media Channel, IndiHome Channel, and Vision Plus, and also live streaming on idxchannel.com. IDX Channel provides information from around the world from different perspectives. We provide you various investment strategies, stock options, inspiring figures for your business references. IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel.
President Joko Widodo demands accelerations of social assistance distribution. Indonesia Stock Exchange is conducting annual event Public Expos Live 2020. Good afternoon, viewers in Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of informations from business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Clara Antawijaya, and this is Market Headlines. And yes, viewers, in order to encourage national economic growth in the third quarter of 2020, President Joko Widodo insistently asked distributions of various social assistance programs to be completed in August and September.
President Joko Widodo asked for the distribution of various social assistance programs to be completed in the August and September. The goal is that the distribution of social assistance can increase national economic growth in the third quarter of 2020.
Kemudian yang terakhir untuk pemulihan ekonomi, sekali lagi untuk skema cash transfer, bantuan langsung ke masyarakat, saya minta untuk dipercepat, Pak Menko PMK, ini ya, terutama yang berkaitan dengan agar terus dipantau BLT desa, bantuan sosial tunai, kemudian BNPT yang sudah ditambah, hari ini nanti akan ada banpres produktif, kemudian bantuan untuk subsidi gaji, ini betul-betul diikuti karena ini yang paling banyak terkendala adalah urusan data, urusan nomor account di bank. Saya kira ini yang yang agak menghambat kita.
On the other hand, the President asked the ministers to continue to fix various obstacles in the distribution of social assistance. For additional information, the government prepared a budget of 695.2 trillion rupiah to handle the impact of COVID-19 pandemic and the National Economic Recovery Program this year. From all sources, IDX Channel.
The salary subsidy program for employees with salaries below 5 million rupiah will soon to be rolled out. And Indonesia's Social Security Agency for Workers, or so-called as BPJS Ketenagakerjaan, has collected 13.6 million accounts for prospective salary subsidy beneficiaries.
Even though as many as 13.6 million bank accounts has been gathered, but those accounts has not yet been distributed to the government. Those bank accounts need to be verified first with the several procedures. Agustus, as the main director of BPJS Ketenagakerjaan, elaborated that there are many layers of verifications procedure. Its party needs to ensure that the data submitted is in accordance with the criteria and system recorded in the agency. First thing first, bank needs to validate those 13.6 accounts. Those accounts number are selected based on the activity and the validity of account number. As for informations, the validations process is carried out with at least 127 banks in Indonesia. As a result, there are 9.33 million valid accounts number and 51,859 invalid accounts. These invalid number needs to be sent back to the company to the correct account numbers. There are also around 4.21 million account numbers that are still in validation process. From all sources, IDX Channel.
On the other hand, the government pins its hopes on a growth rate around 0% this year, and the government is struggling to spend more than 690 trillion rupiah stimulus budget to revive the economy.
The Indonesian government is pinning its hopes on a growth rate of around 0% this year, as it struggles to spend a 695.2 trillion rupiah stimulus budget to revive an economy reeling from the coronavirus pandemic. Finance Minister Sri Mulyani said that economic growth could flatline at 0% this year, as economic activity might start to normalize by September, adding that the government was struggling to spend the stimulus budget needed to revive the economy. Sri Mulyani referred to the coronavirus outbreak that has caused the country's economy to shrink by 5.32% in the second quarter this year, as the components of economic activity fell significantly. So far, the lack of stimulus budget disbursement has continued to hinder Indonesia's economic recovery. The government has only spent around 21% or 151 trillion rupiah of the stimulus budget even after 5 months since the beginning of the outbreak. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Fitch Solutions projected Bank Indonesia to again cut its benchmark interest rate by 25 basis points later this year. Fitch stated that the rate cut is to support Indonesian economy.
Bank of Indonesia is projected to cut its benchmark interest rate by 25 basis points later this year to support the Indonesian economy against the coronavirus pandemic impact, backed by sufficient foreign exchange reserves, Fitch Solutions says. Analysts at Fitch Solutions say that the central bank had to balance its policy to support the economy while maintaining the stability of the rupiah exchange rate, which led to its latest decision to lift its benchmark interest rate, the 7-day reverse report, at 4%. However, Fitch noted that the rupiah had seen a gradual depreciation against the US dollar since it recovered from a sharp depreciation in March, considering the foreign exchange reserve that still stood at 135.1 billion US dollar in July, the highest level ever so far, and worth 8.6 months of imports and debt payment. Fitch Solutions argued that the central bank would have sufficient reserves to support the rupiah were it to sell off sharply with a rate cut. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Illegal illegal steel import has stolen public spotlight as weak government supervisions. Institute for Development of Economics and Finance highlights that the reasons on why illegal steel import happens, one of them is due to expensive domestic steel price.
Steel has fundamental role in infrastructure, means that its higher infrastructure leads to higher demand on steel. Unfortunately, large illegal steel imports take over the market. Senior economist of IndiHome, NDC Hartati, stated that there are at least 3 reasons behind steel illegal import is on the hype. First thing, high price on gas in Indonesia. This because gas is raw material for producing steel. Higher gas price leads to higher domestic steel price, which lead into illegal steel import. Second, Annie said, steel oversupply from China have tendency to fulfill ongoing infrastructure development in Indonesia, and therefore China sells steel with a more cost-efficient price but without proper licensing. Third thing, there is a flaw in a fiscal policy that makes steel import comes in without additional fee, and therefore it can be sold in Indonesia with a cheaper price.
Harga gas yang harus dibayar oleh KS itu $12 MMBTU. Berarti berapa? Sepertiganya gas di Cina, dan itu disebabkan karena kemurahhatian Indonesia gitu kan, mengekspor gas dengan murah. Nah, sehingga ini yang sekarang menyerang balik kita, sehingga baja-baja kita tidak efisien dan selalu kalah bersaing dengan baja dari Tiongkok atau Cina. Nah, ditambah lagi dalam era pandemi ini kan pasti ada permintaan baja yang menurun sangat drastis. Nah, ini yang menyebabkan baja di Cina pasti oversupply. Nah, sehingga Indonesia kalau masih ingin meneruskan program-program infrastruktur ini menjadi sasaran yang sangat empuk sekali.
To complete the argument, Annie stated that government must find out in steel production's downstream problem, which is gas price as a raw material. From Jakarta, Rizka Ayu Damawicaksono for IDX Channel.
Still regarding steel import, the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce, or so-called as Kadin, stated that the continuing import of steel in Indonesia was the impact of the weak integrations between the government and the private sector in supplying steel as a raw material with a high level of demand.
The Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or Kadin, views the polemic on steel imports that has occurred for a long time, where illegal steel imports are referred to as weak government supervision of the entry of imported goods that are used as raw material for infrastructure development. Representative of the Permanent Commission of Upstream Industry and Petrochemical, Kadin Indonesia, Ahmad Wijaya, said, so far, there are many factors that make steel imports difficult to stem. Among them, the weak implementation of government's policies. In addition, according to him, the government through Krakatau Steel as a state-owned company that produces steel must be integrated with the private companies. This is a solution to meet domestic steel needs. Supervision of steel imports for industries that are not allowed must also be tightened.
Posisi pemakaian baja sebetulnya kan meningkat terus karena infrastruktur sejak pandemik kan sampai sekarang juga boleh dikatakan ada slowdown, tapi kan kontinuitasnya ada, nomor satu. Kedua, mungkin harus diperhatikan adalah kebijakan pemerintah itu banyak diberikan tapi banyak yang tidak terimplementasikan. Nomor dua. Nomor tiga, saya pikir pihak pemerintah juga harus ada ketegasan mengenai baja. Baja ini sudah dinamakan wajib SNI udah lama sekali, sehingga jangan diberi peluang kepada pihak importir umum terutama ya, memberikan mereka kesempatan bagi proyek yang tidak ada boleh diimpor.
Kadin also urged the government to boost production of Krakatau Steel so that Krakatau Steel has a better performance than the private sector. Jakarta, Rizka Ayu Damawicaksono for IDX Channel.
And And yes, viewers, we're going to have deeper discussions regarding capital markets. And specifically, we're going to talk about foreign investors and the appetite of selling. After this quick break, only on Market Headlines.
Playbox, lebih dari sekedar Smart TV, more powerful. Nikmati lebih dari 5.000 aplikasi Android. 10.000 jam video on demand. Bisa nonton ulang hingga 7 hari ke belakang. Connect Vision Plus sekarang. Nonton dimanapun, kapanpun. Tinggal connect internet hanya 100 ribuan per bulan. Nikmati bonus hingga 1,2 juta rupiah. Playbox, Beyond Smart TV.
Senang sekali saya David San Ovo dan dapat hadir menemani Anda dalam program spesial dialog webinar on TV.
Setiap minggunya kita akan membahas tema-tema yang sangat menarik. Apa kabar ibu-ibu sekalian?
Alhamdulillah baik.
Salah satu ambisi daripada Kementerian Koperasi dan UMKM bersama Spesco adalah koperasi keren, baru, digital gitu kan, yang kita bisa IT.
Virus corona diprediksi menekan pertumbuhan ekonomi berbagai negara dan membuat baja di pasar global alami oversupply. Krakatau Steel menyikapi ini seperti apa, Pak Silmi?
Cara mengantisipasinya, memberikan competitiveness pada industri baja nasional sehingga bisa berkompetisi dengan import. Terus kemudian juga importnya juga kita mesti selektif. Jangan import yang hal-hal yang sudah bisa dibuat di Indonesia.
Kita harus betul-betul memahami lingkungan bisnis global yang lebih baik, plus di dalam negerinya sosiologi dan antropologi, supaya totalitas kita membantu petani secara efektif.
Welcome back to Market Headlines. Foreign investors continue to dispose local equities as Jakarta Composite Index keeps recording net sell, which is accumulated up to 40.42 trillion rupiah throughout the year.
Capital market turns out to be in a fragile fort in the moment. Once JCI experienced bearish turbulence, crowd is finally in a panic situations and would likely to accelerate any wave of selling that's already taken shape, which is in this case, it is foreign investor. Since the beginning of the year, Jakarta Composite Index still booked huge foreign investors net sell, which reached 40.42 trillion rupiah in the regular market. Chairman of the Indonesian Securities Analyst Association, Edwin Sembayang, stated that the foreign investors will recover in the third quarter and the fourth quarter of 2020 with more skewed towards allocating their cash into equities following economic recovery amidst pandemic. From all sources for IDX Channel.
And yes, viewers, foreign net outflows dwindled to nearly 40 trillion rupiah as in a year to date. As the market may be on a roll, there are so many questions to be addressed for. For instance, how far this rally will go on, and how is investor behavior, current appetite, and so on. And therefore, right now, live by phone, we are going to have deeper discussions regarding the momentum in foreign net selling activity with the chief economist of Trimegah, Farul Fulfian. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. After a long weekend, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Nice to hear that, sir. So we have deeper discussions in here regarding the dwindling foreign net flow. As we can see, as in a year to date, there is 40 trillion rupiah foreign investor that have sell. And so far, what's your perspective on this behavior of the foreign investors?
Okay, basically, from the foreign investor point of view, about decision whether they will invest in the emerging market like Indonesia or not, we need to have an eye on the two things. The number one, it is about the availability of the flows or the inflows to their funds. And the second is about the fundamental of Indonesian economy. What happened is, if you look at the MSCI Global Emerging Market Stock Index, the funds that are following that index recorded huge outflows in the first quarter 2020. That's why basically we have lower flows to Indonesian market, because the fresh fund from the foreigner is also lower. The factor number one. The factor number two, it is about the fundamental of the Indonesian economy. If previously stock market investors eyeing that Indonesian GDP growth could be at 6%, and now the GDP growth is continuing to heading south, and there is a good chance that in the 2020 Indonesia could support some negative growth. It dampens the expectation of return and let the investor put their position in the Indonesian stock market. That's basically the situation.
All right, sir, as you say before that this will happen in the long run, since when it's actually happened?
Yeah, it will happen.
Sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'm asking you, since when this happened, actually the behavior of a foreign investor of selling rather than buying?
If we look at the past, the persistent outflows from Indonesian stock market already happened since 2018. If we look at the data, the percentage of the ownership of the local investor in the Indonesian stock market continues to add up. It is already happened because since 2018, Indonesia has difficulties to gain GDP growth above 5. That's the situation. So at the current situation, the investors just tone down their expectations, and tone down the expectation of the growth, and we consider to enter the Indonesian market again once the valuation is attractive. That's basically what we're saying.
All right, so you say that it's from 2018, so it's not about pandemic that caused this to happen?
Yeah. Pandemic just strengthened the trend.
All right, sir. So what makes foreign investors to do so? Is it because of profit taking, or is there any other reason?
For sure, it's also about the profit taking. And the other reason that why the foreign investor is not yet entering the Indonesian market is about the volatility of rupiah.
All right, so the volatility of rupiah really affects on how foreign investor behave in Indonesia, right?
Yeah, sure. Because as a foreign investor, I will calculate my return based on the stock market increase and the change in the currency value.
Oh, I see, sir. So, in your opinion, when will this hype will over?
This hype is likely to over if there is two conditions fulfilled. The condition number one, in the global market, we should hear further stimulus from the major central banks, which will let the liquidity to remain flat. It means that there is availability of the fresh money. That's the number one. Sir. The number two, what is most important for the Indonesia is to change the sign of recovery and the stability of the rupiah.
Oh, I see, sir. So rupiah is the key in here. So actually, our foreign investors are running from domestic market. Is it because they want to run from domestic market itself, or they want to change or switch the investment assets? For example, for government bonds.
Basically, the investor is switching from the stock to the bond market. It is happening in the 2018 and the 2019. But in the 2020, the investors are moving outside Indonesia. They sell the bonds and they sell the stock market.
All right, sir. So we can conclude based on your what saying is that these regarding foreign investors' behavior on selling will happen in the long run. It's really sad to hear that, sir.
Yeah, but interestingly, it is happening on a good timing.
All right,
Because at the current situation, the appetite from the domestic investor to the stock market is continue to get higher and higher.
All right, sir.
If you talk to most of the security company or the stock exchange, it should record the increasing number of the new accounts
All right,
in the
sir.
retail investors in the Indonesian market.
Yes, we noted it very clearly. Thank you for your time with us, sir. Your explanation is really concise and really well explained. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome.
Have a nice evening. And yes, viewers, stay tuned to market headlines because we will be right back after this quick break. Welcome back to Market Headlines. COVID-19 pandemic doesn't stop Indonesia's stock exchange to hold yearly event so-called Public Expos. What differs Public Expos Live 2020 is that during implementations, Public Expos is held virtually using webinar technology. Public Expos Live 2020 is conducted within 5 days, starting from today. Public Expos is an annual event held to commemorate the reactivations of the Indonesian's capital market. The Public Expos Live 2020 is attended by 50 listed companies on Indonesia's stock exchange, and this year's implementations was very different. Whereas the implementations was done virtually, both investors and participating listed companies. President Director of Indonesia's Stock Exchange stated by implementing virtual Public Expos, it can widely reach investors and open more access to Indonesia's capital market.
Acara yang akan berlangsung selama 5 hari ke depan ini dapat membuka akses dan hubungan yang lebih luas antara perusahaan tercatat dan investor di seluruh wilayah.
In the first semester of 2020, Bank Mandiri recorded credit of 871.7 trillion rupiah. This achievement was claimed to be the result of their strategy to apply banking administration's digitalizations, such as opening saving accounts and applying for credit.
Pandemic doesn't hold Bank Mandiri to post positive performance. The listed company even recorded credit growth of 4.3% year-on-year. It means by the first semester of 2020, Bank Mandiri recorded credit of 871.7 trillion rupiah. President Director of Mandiri, Royke Tumilar, said that achievement is supported by digitalizations in banking administrations. Currently, Bank Mandiri has undergone major transformational initiative. Plus pandemic, the company focused on accelerating digital pandemic to keep solid performance. Specifically speaking, Bank Mandiri has applied digitalizations for banking administrations, such as opening saving accounts and applying for credit. For example, the bank used to manually distribute credit by face-to-face interactions. The process could take days, but by digitizing the process, Onboarding now takes only minutes. From all sources for IDX Channel.
Let's step aside from market conditions as coronavirus pandemic takes a big role on economic situations. And here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic business and capital market channel. I'm Claranta Wijaya. Have a nice evening and stay safe.